Welcome. In this explainer, we're going to dive into something pretty amazing. We're going to see how a really simple moment-to-moment technique for dealing with our own thoughts can actually unlock one of the world's most profound philosophies. It's all about making a small shift in how you see things. Let's get into it.
So let me start by asking you a question we've probably all wrestled with. Have you ever felt like you've been completely hijacked by a negative thought or a difficult emotion? One minute you're just going about your day, and the next, bam, you're lost in this storm of anxiety or anger. It really feels like you're not in the driver's seat anymore, right? But what if the problem isn't actually the storm itself? What if the real issue, the thing that causes all that friction we feel right here, deep in our chest, is our desperate struggle against that storm? The original teaching of the Lord Buddha suggests that the suffering doesn't come from the thought, it comes from our resistance to it.
All right, so let's reframe this whole thing. We're going to take a closer look at what truly causes our mental distress. And you know what? It might not be what you think.
This right here is such a critical distinction. On one side, you have just a thought. Maybe a memory of something embarrassing pops up. It's just a fleeting mental event, kind of impersonal, like a cloud passing through the sky. But then, look at the other side. This is what we usually do. We grab onto that thought, we identify with it, we fight it, we try to push it away. And suddenly, we become the embarrassment. That struggle, that's the resistance. That is the real suffering.
And this quote just nails it. A negative thought on its own is basically neutral. It's our reaction, our internal declaration that this shouldn't be here. That's what creates the inner war. The problem isn't the event itself, but our refusal to just let it be.
So, if fighting our thoughts is the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's about a fundamental shift in your perspective. It's learning how to step back and just watch the show instead of getting lost on the stage.
Now, to do this, we need to know what we're supposed to be observing. In this framework, our entire experience, right now, can be broken down into 5 components. They're called the 5 khandhas. Just think of them as the building blocks of any given moment. You've got your physical body, or form, the pleasant or unpleasant feelings, your perceptions, your mental reactions like anger or joy, and then the consciousness that knows all of it. The key thing here is to see that these aren't you. They are just the things you are observing.
This is where we usually live our lives, right? When anger shows up, there's no separation. Look at the silhouette here. It's completely consumed by it. We are the anger. The source material calls this accidentally becoming it. There's no space, no daylight, just a complete merger with that feeling. Now, here's the shift. The anger is still there. That chaotic energy is still buzzing around in the chest, but a space has been created around it. The real you is the one who's watching. You're no longer the anger. You're the one who is aware of the anger. You've become, as the teaching says, just the one who watches. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like some super difficult mental skill you have to build from nothing. But here's the really good news. This observer quality is totally natural. It's an inherent part of being human. We just have to learn how to recognize it and strengthen it.
This natural awareness is called sati. And what's so crucial to understand is that real sati isn't something you create through force or intense concentration. It actually arises all on its own. It's a natural function of the mind that we just tend to overlook.
You know that feeling when you've been daydreaming or worrying for like 5 solid minutes, and then all of a sudden there's this little moment of clarity where you go, whoa, where's my mind been? That little or that aha moment, that is natural sati waking up all by itself. Nobody told it to, it's just the mind's natural self-correcting ability.
So how do we get better at it? Honestly, just by noticing it. In the beginning, you might get lost in some angry rant in your head for a full half hour before you finally snap out of it. That is totally fine. The magic is in that moment of waking up. And with practice, you'll start to notice that the gap gets shorter. 30 minutes becomes 15, then 5, then 1 minute, until you catch yourself almost as soon as you get lost.
So, is there a practical, simple way to encourage more of these aha moments? A way to stay in that observer role more often? Yep. Let's look at a really direct technique you can use anytime.
It is incredibly simple. Instead of fighting an emotion or fueling it, you just gently and silently name it. This tiny act of labeling creates just enough space to shift you from being the participant to being the observer. It's like turning on a flashlight in a dark room instead of flailing around in the darkness.
So, when you feel that familiar heat rising up in your chest, you could just note internally, this is anger. Or maybe, Anger is now present in the mind. Or even just recognizing anger. You don't judge it, you don't analyze it, you don't try to get rid of it. You just name what's there. This simple act of observing one of those mental formations, one of those khandhas, it keeps your mind anchored in the role of the witness.
And this, right here, is where it all comes together. This simple, moment-to-moment practice of observing and labeling isn't just some clever self-help trick. It's actually a direct, experiential way of living out the entire framework of the Four Noble Truths.
Let's just see how this maps out. The first noble truth says that suffering exists. Well, your direct experience of that is the feeling of being hijacked by anger. The second truth says suffering has a cause, our resistance, our craving for the anger to just go away. The third truth says suffering can cease. You experience this. It's that tiny moment of peace you feel when you simply observe the anger without fighting it. And finally, the fourth noble truth is the path to that freedom. And your experience of the path is that simple act of labeling. This is anger. In that one moment, you are walking the entire path.
So what this all really means is that the path isn't some far-off, abstract goal you have to strive for. The entire teaching is right here, contained in this simple shift from being consumed by an experience to just being aware of it. Every single time you mindfully observe what's happening inside, you are practicing the entire path.
And that leaves us with one last, kind of profound thought. If you are not the anger, not the sadness, not the thought, but you are the awareness that is watching it all come and go, then who or what are you really?